United States Navy retired. I served 26 years in the world's greatest Navy. I was stationed aboard the battleship New Jersey from 1986 to 1988. She went on for a couple more years, and she was decommissioned in 1991. While aboard New Jersey, I was in the engineering department as a hull maintenance technician. I reached the rank of second-class petty officer, and that's where I learned how to work on old boats.
Well, you got to do a lot of, there was a lot of workups before you go on a cruise. You got to go through things called rough tray and mobile team trainer. It's these dudes come on and they evaluate all your battle drills and stuff and inspect all your compartments and your engine room. There's certain guys that do all the firefighting stuff. There's certain guys that do the engine rooms, weapon systems, and they inspect everything and watch you do your stuff. And then of course you get all kinds of hits. This is wrong, that's wrong, let's do it again, kind of thing, nitpicky stuff. But so you have a lot of, so we were doing all kinds of training in these workups because they kind of let you know ahead of time what ports we're going to be hitting.
No, some of the ports were okay. Some, the best place port I ever hit was Pattaya Beach, Thailand, or they call it Pattaya. Yeah, the Thai people and stuff were really nice, friendly. Koreans were really cool too. Japan, I would have passed on that place, They protested when we were pulling in Japan. We had mass amounts of protesters in boats.
Dressed up as skeletons and stuff like that. It was the nuke thing. They're screaming over loudspeakers and stuff, get your nuclear powered ship out of here and stuff like that. It's like, baby, this thing's 600 pounds steam. You must got some bad information.
But we had special tomahawks, as we call them, special ones. So, and that's the reason we had a Marine detachment aboard too. We had 70 Marines, a Mardet they call it, because we had we call them the glowing yo-yos. Basically nuke-tipped cruise missiles. So,
Japanese Coast Guard, you'll see they have a ring of Japanese Coast Guard boats around us, and all the protesters are around. So they were shielding us. So no, one of the boats, I believe, tried to ram our ship, got in between the screen of Coast Guard boats, but I think they got water cannoned or something. They never hit our ship, but what a stupid idea, right? It's like running a Volkswagen into a cement wall. They didn't like that because the Japanese surrendered on the deck of the Missouri in Tokyo. So having an Iowa-class battleship coming into port, I think they just, I'm sure they get it, but I don't think they liked it. And out in town, the people kind of just get out of your way. I think they looked at Americans, those barbarians. I know things are way different now, because there's so much travel between the countries and relations. But back then, 35 years ago, I think they still had a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah, so going in Japan, they were real crazy about us visiting. We actually got rolled up by shore patrol for trashing some bar. And so it didn't work out. I think I got my liberty restricted after that trip. Right, once we left Hawaii, we had Russian trawlers on us. It just says a fishing boat, but it's got 40 antennas sticking out of it. And they would follow miles behind us, and they'd scoop up our garbage. Because back then, you just threw trash overboard. You cut holes in the bag and threw it overboard. I know, that shit don't go now. And they would scoop up our trash, always trying to, and in fact, we got into, at one point, the CO was like, yeah, we got company already, or whatever he was saying. He goes, we're coming up on a fog bank in about 30 miles. He goes, after that, I'm going to let engineering take it from there. So as soon as we got into that fog bank, we kicked it up to about 28 knots. And, that's just one level below flank. Flank, we could do 32 plus. In fact, the New Jersey has the world record for battleship speed at almost 36. Maybe 36 knots is 45 miles an hour. And for a 68,000 ton ship, that's pretty impressive. So we always had the Russians harassing us. The Russian Bears, the big silver planes with all the prop engines, they flying around all the time. Then by the time we got into the Seal Tusk, which is like them going into the Gulf of Mexico, we were up in there. They had a Kiev class cruiser shadowing us the whole way. So, yeah, you know, you could hear pings. They ping their Soviet subs would ping our ship just to let us know we're there. Cat and mouse stuff like that. And our CO would be like, yeah, the other Russian goes, yeah, we're having fun targeting them. They're having fun targeting us. But that was the Cold War out back there. So yeah, I've seen plenty of Russian aircraft and ships. Yeah, they follow you around.
This was the first ever battleship battle group. So, there's always carrier, because you ever see, cruises, it's always a carrier and all the destroyers and frigates and stuff like that. We didn't have a carrier. We were a solo battle group. So we were the first BBG, Battleship Battle Group. So I actually have a certificate called In the Bear's Lair, because back then that was kind of the thing, US, Russia, we had an ass load of ships back then. Reagan was pushing for the 600 ship Navy. And so, it's not, we knew that, the only people if we were going to have any problems, it was going to be with the Russians. So, going in there, poking them, and, they don't like it when we come in there with a battleship, and they know we got cruise missiles and all that stuff on there. So, yeah, I don't think they cared for it because they had a lot of assets following us around.